Hello, everyone. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, I can hear
Yes,
you.
I can. All right. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, we
I'll place it one in the chart if you can hear me. Okay, I can see confirmation. People can hear me. How are we doing? How are we doing? Thank you for joining in this afternoon here in Ontario, Canada. So while we wait for others to join, because I can see people are connecting in at the moment. So why don't we just go into the chat and drop our city, drop where you're joining in from, your city, your state, your province, and probably the country you're joining in from. Let's go to the chat. Let's get the chat busy. For me, I'm joining in from I'm in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Okay, I can see a lot of. Okay, let's see where we are joining in from. Saskatoon. Okay, all my people from Saskatoon, thanks for joining in. Ontario. Timmy from Toronto, thanks you for joining. Paul from Toronto. Okay, I can see Olayemi joining in from Barrie. Nice to have you here. Oh, I can see someone joining in from Oshawa, Ontario. Thanks for joining. Oh wow, I can see Abraham, UK. Let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. Let's rep our city. Let's see where we are all joining in from. It's gonna be an exciting evening. Okay, so with that being said, I think we will be kicking off officially in 2 minutes. So with that 2 minutes, drop in the chat if you're excited to be here this evening. Just drop in the chat and let us know um, what's your expectation for this evening. What's your expectation for this evening? What are you looking forward? What are you looking forward to get from this section this evening? Okay, I can see people say that I'm excited. Joined from Canada, Joe. Okay, Adeyemi said how to X interview in AML KYC. Nice, that's great. That's great. That's great. So let's keep it coming, guys. It's gonna be an interactive section. Okay, it's gonna be you and I talking. We'll be navigating how we can properly position ourselves right in the AML compliance industry, or you can also put compliance industry. So we'll be having a robust conversation. I'll starting from the entry level up up to the professional level, like the senior level. So I can see actually I'm happy to join and learn more about AML, which is new area for me. Yeah, just like I mentioned. So we're going to be having conversation around uh, entering AML as a profession, or you can say AML KYC or financial crime compliance as a profession, and also have tips for those individuals that are already in the in the space but looking for a better rules on how to move forward in their career space. So we'll be having those conversations all around. So now that it's already 3:05, so I think we can officially start the section now. So once again, I would like to thank everyone for taking out time to join this section this evening. I know very well that there are 1,001 place you could have been at this time, but you decided to come spend the next 60 to 90 minutes with us or with me. I appreciate it and I do not take it for granted. So we would be kicking off right away. And if you don't mind, I would probably start by I'll share my screen. And while I share my screen, we get we we get straight up into what we came here for. And it's gonna, like I say, permit me whenever if I'm looking at a different direction, I have a different screen, some like just by my right hand side, which is your left hand side. So I'm looking at that screen. Okay, so let's get started. If can we all please mute? Can we all please just mute ourselves if we're not talking? Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen now. And at this point, I'm going to be switching between screens at the initial stage, just so we can get the full discussion clear. So once again, we are all welcome to. Can everyone see my screen? I'll drop a one on the chat if you can see my screen. Can everyone see? Okay, yeah, good. So
Yes.
today's topic, okay, thank you very much for confirming. So today's topic is how top candidates break into and advance in AML and compliance in 2026, what hiring managers are looking for. So my name is Mavis, and I'll be the one taking you through this journey this evening. And just a moment, I think my screen is frozen. Okay, so while I wait for my screen to come back, I would just want to start. I want to play a video for us to see, to have an inclination of what we do in the financial crime regulation space. There are reasons why financial institutions, regulators, there are reasons why um, they mandate that certain policies and procedures be carried out within their financial within the financial institutions. So let me play a video for us. Then once we're done with our video, then we dig deep into what we have for today. So I'm going to share my screen again. And so the video you're about to watch is the video of 9/11 attack, that the attack in US that affected 9/11 at the World Trade Center. So I'm going to play the footage for you so that we can get a better grasp of what we are getting ourselves involved in at the moment. So I'll go ahead and play the video. So let me know if you can hear and see the video.
We can't see the video.
Okay, let me. Can you hear? Can you hear? Can you hear?
Yes, we can hear the video, but we can't see.
Okay, so let me redo this again.
I think you're sharing the wrong screen.
Oh, okay, so you should be able to see. Okay, can we see the screen now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
What the hell was that?
It sounded like a plane crash.
Hey, Beth. What is that? Somebody hit the World Trade Center or the...
It's a trade
Yes, the
center.
World Trade Center.
Yeah. This just in, you were looking at
we have a breaking
obviously
news
very
story to tell you
disturbing
about.
live shot there. That is the World Trade Center, and we just unconfirmed reports this morning that a plane has crashed.
As we come on now, we have serious news of a major, a very tragic alert for you right now. Incredible plane crash into the World Trade Center.
I just heard a loud boom. You did? Was it a plane? That's what I was thinking. It was a terrorist attack.
Immediately, there's speculation or cause for concern. This is the World Trade Center that was the center of a terrorist bombing some years ago. So the questions have to be asked, was this purely an accident or could this have been an intentional act? But either way, extensive damage was done.
What's this other jet doing? What's this other jet doing? Holy fuck!
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Looks like 6, 7 floors were taken out. And there's more explosions right now. Hold on, people are running.
Hold on just a moment. We've got an explosion inside.
The building's exploding right now. You got people running up the street.
Okay.
Hold on, I'll tell you what's going on.
Right, oh my God, another plane has just hit another building, flew right into the middle of it. Explosion. My God, it's right in the middle of the building.
If you read her up from under your seat, stay on page 153. At the count of 3, everyone should be on page 153.
Mom, another plane just crashed into the other World Trade Center. Another plane hit a jet, a jumbo jet. I'm so scared. I'm leaving. Don't, Megan. You can't. Bye. I love you.
Megan.
Mom, I'm Carol. I'm getting off.
Please wait for me.
We do have some videotape of the second plane, and you can see it there.
Where? I didn't see it. Oh, whoa.
We're
under attack.
Going into buildings.
From our vantage point, yeah, clearly difficult to tell.
We're under attack.
What type of plane that is, but it's a horrific scene.
All right, we've just been told also, Michael, sorry, the New York Stock Exchange is being evacuated, as is, I'm sure, much of Wall Street, if not all of it, as much as possible. But the New York Stock Exchange has suspended trading for the moment.
It's war.
Today, we've had a national tragedy. 2 airplanes have crashed into the World Trade Center in an apparent terrorist attack on our country.
David,
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we're looking at live pictures of the Pentagon where there is billowing smoke. Jim Miklashevsky just reported that he heard an explosion, and right now we're looking at an aerial view of the Pentagon.
There are reports the Pentagon has been evacuated and the White House is being evacuated. Clearly, you're seeing now these pictures from Washington, D.C. as we try to determine.
All of the airports across the country have been shut down. All flights have been canceled for another 7 hours, which is about 5 o'clock Eastern time, and then we'll reignite there. We'll take a look what's going on after that. The probability of extension, as they call that, is high.
Take two. Take two and 2, 1. This is as close as we can get to the base of the World Trade Center. You can see the firemen assembled here, the police officers, FBI agents, and you can see the 2 towers. A huge explosion now raining debris on all of us. We better get out of the way.
I hope I live. She's coming down on me. Here it comes. I'm getting behind a car.
Anthony, you okay? Yeah.
Please. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Watch out, watch out.
No idea.
I'll tell you that I can't see that second tower, but there was a cascade of sparks and fire, and now it looks almost like a mushroom cloud explosion, this huge billowing smoke in the second tower. This was the second of the 2 towers hit.
Now this is what it looked like moments ago. My God.
The remains of a airplane crash over on Lambertsville Road, and probably had a terrorist bomb on board that blew up. I don't know anything more than that. That's what I heard on the scanner. I just saw the smoke come up, and the explosion shook the house clear over here, and we are, what, 15 miles from Lambertsville.
In Washington, there is a large fire at the Pentagon. The Pentagon has been evacuated. And there's, you can see, perhaps the second tower, the front tower, the top portion of which is collapsing. Good Lord. There are no words. We have a report that a 747 is down in Pennsylvania, and that remains unconfirmed at this point, and so we will check on that.
Good evening. Today, our fellow citizens, our way of life, our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts. Thousands of lives were suddenly ended by evil, despicable acts of terror. These acts of mass murder were intended to frighten our nation into chaos and retreat. But they have failed. Our country is strong. A great people has been moved to defend a great nation. The search is underway for those who are behind these evil acts. I've directed the full resources of our intelligence and law enforcement communities to find those responsible and to bring them to justice. We will make no distinction between the terrorists who committed these acts and those who harbor them.
I can hear you. I can hear you. The rest of the world hears you. And the people who knock these buildings down will hear.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Hope we can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes, Lovis, we can.
If you can, thank you for confirming.
Yes, we
Uh,
can.
yeah, thank you. Thank you for confirming. Once again, I would like to welcome everyone to today's section. The video you just watched there was the 9/11 bombing attack on the World Trade Center. So that's with having that in mind, it gives you the awareness of how serious it is when it comes to financial crime that's it's been perpetrated in our society. And the relevance of that video goes a long way to show what we do in this career space. So it goes beyond just getting a job and doing the job, getting your pay, and go back home. So your job is actually important to the society. It's important to the government, the government in charge of the country, state, city that you're working in. It goes to protect not just your country or your province or your state. It goes to protect the global space in general. So having this picture in mind, this should encourage you to make you feel a sense of belonging that you're doing something very important. So with that being said, I would like to welcome every one of us again back to today's section. Now that we have a foundation of how important our job is. So we'll be having conversation around anti-money laundering analysis, our KYC, and all of these things helps to protect our society. So just a little bit about that video. That 9/11 attack was coordinated within the United States, and it was funded by individuals within and outside of the United States. Funds were made available for training, buying of equipment, living expenses, and all those things. They all happened. And how did all of this happen? It happened by people transferring money from one bank account to another, opening bank accounts with fake identities, then receiving wire transfers from countries that is deemed to be high-risk jurisdictions. And at this point, when all of these things were happening, they were happening simultaneously, and the controls and policies on ground were not as strong as it is today. So that was why a lot of those transactions were where they went by without being flagged. They went by without being scrutinized. So when that attack was done, that was when the light on AML, on financial crime, became brighter. So that was when regulations went out, both internal regulations and external. So excuse me. That was when internal regulations and international regulations started coming up, sanctions started coming up. So a whole lot of things became stronger compared to the way it was before. So, and that's why you notice that financial institutions, they are really careful when it comes to screening, when it comes to hiring people that work in this field or in this career space as it relates to this particular webinar. So that's why sometimes we might think that the hiring managers, they are being too hard on us, or they are requesting for things that are unreasonable. But one thing I want you to understand is that there are consequences that are in place when they don't comply with the standards, with the principles, with the policies, when they don't comply. So there are consequences. So we will be discussing about some of those consequences, and we'll be discussing about what AML is in general. So with that being said, tonight, it's not just about breaking into AML. So it's about understanding how hiring decisions are actually made in compliance. Okay, whether you're starting from zero or you've had some years within the space, you just need to understand that sometimes the rules are the same. So you're either job ready or you remain cost heavy, taking certifications upon certifications, trainings upon trainings, but you just have to be job ready. You need to choose the part that you want to play in. So let's get in. So like I explained, I will introduce myself again. My name is Mavis Osumbo, and I am a financial crime regulation consultant. I have had the opportunity of working within the traditional banking. So when I mean traditional means our regular banks like the MTD, Scotia banks, CIBC, and I've also had opportunity of working in the financial technology space, which can easily be called fintech space. So working in that space, I've had opportunities of working with cryptocurrency exchange companies, payment exchange companies, even up to working with academic institutions in this space. So, and I've also worked on different type of cases. I started out as analyst up to building of program I started out as analyst, moved from started as analyst, moved from one level to another, and building skills upon skills from one level to move from different units within within the department and got to the stage whereby I interpret policies and also build our systems. So I've had opportunities of building our systems, AML. When I mean systems, I'm talking about anti-money laundering analysis our systems for our fintechs, and also contributed my quota in as much as I can. So I'll be the one taking you through some of the things that we're going to be doing today. So with that being said, I think let's move very fast. So this section is for beginners, it's for career switchers, it's for analysts, entry-level analysts, and again, stored professionals. You probably have been in one particular position for a while and you're looking to get into the next phase. So I believe by the end of this section, you would be able to get something, one or two tips that you could implement that would push you forward or break you to the next level that you would love to be. So let's start from the get-go. What is AML and KYC? What is AML and KYC? Let's go for those of us that are already in the space. I think this will be a refresher for you. Then, however, for those of us that are just starting out, this would be a guide for you to understand what it is all about. So, AML, KYC. So, AML stands for anti-money laundering. Then KYC stands for know your customer. Now, I would want to start with KYC. Let me break down KYC. Everything about KYC. So, in simple terms, AML and KYC, they are our financial institutions. They verify identity, they assess risk, they monitor transactions, and prevent financial crime. So, like the video we watched, that was in this sense, we regard that as the funding of that attack is regarded as terrorism financing. Okay, so in KYC simply means know your customer. So let's take, for instance, you as an individual, you go to the bank and you want to open a bank account. I believe they would ask you for basic informations like what's your ID. Then they ask you for your ID. Again, your ID would carry your address, and they will ask you other basic questions like what is this account for? How much do you intend to transact in these accounts on a monthly basis? So you probably give them a number. Let's say, for instance, you say you're a teacher, and they will also ask you for your occupation. So let's say, for instance, you're a teacher, and this account is meant for payroll, and that's the basic source of funds to the account. then this account will be used for let's say, for instance, daily living expenses, which covers your rent, covers your mortgage, covers your car notes, and all those things. So when they get those information from you, those informations are being imputed into your profile. They create a profile for you. So that is the process of KYC when it comes to retail banking or when it comes to an individual. So this same process I just explained to you also happens when big corporations, big companies, when they want to do business with financial institutions. So let's take, for instance, Walmart wants to open an account with Citibank, for instance. Now, Walmart is a big incorporation, and there are many requirements they must meet in order for that account to be opened. At this point in time, we've moved away from retail banking and moved into capital markets. So there are a lot of there are beneficial owners, so meaning people that owns a certain percentage in that particular organization in Walmart, as we are using as our illustration. Then there are also control prongs. So what does this mean? There are people that controls the decisions in that company. So as in order for the TD Bank to onboard them, so it could be maybe they want to get a loan, or it could be maybe they want to buy precious metal, or it could be they just want to open an account. So these informations are critical for them to be able to open that account for them. So, and that is where you as a KYC analyst comes in, because there are information you need to get. So these are just surface explanation in order for you to get the concept of what our KYC is all about. So as you can see on my screen, you initiate the KYC process. So basically what you're doing, you conduct KYC, then conducting the KYC, you're collecting the customer identification informations. So customer identification informations like their names, like I mentioned, the ultimate beneficial owners, and all those requirements, because there are requirements you must fulfill. And one thing you should understand is that you don't work in abstract. So all of these informations, all of these informations, or all of this data you are collecting, they've already been curated. So what you're doing, you're checking it against the list. Do we have this on file? Have they produced this? Have they provided this? Then you move over to the next one. So you're gathering information. So you're gathering information basically. Then you move to perform what we call customer due diligence or enhanced due diligence, which is CDD or EDD. And the question will be, what is that? So basically, those informations you've collected, you need to screen those information. You need to check them out. So what are you checking? What are you checking out? You're checking to see if any of the identified individuals that are either the owners of that company, which is Walmart, or anyone that is within the control prong, or we can say within the control level of that financial institution or that of Walmart, you're checking to see if they have any negative news associated with them. So you're screening them to see if this person is there any notable negative news that could harm my financial institution, the TD Bank, associated with them? Have they been involved in human trafficking? Have they been involved in money laundering cases that is known or that has been recorded? So there are a whole lot of research you're going to do on those individuals and also the companies that TD Bank is about to onboard. So when you're done conducting your CDD, then that is where, if they come out to be that every information that you check, everything, they are all clean and there's no negative news associated with them, then there's a risk rating that is associated with them. So then you have to perform your risk rating and all those things. So in these days, the systems these days there are different systems or softwares that you type in those informations that you've collected, and automatically it's going to calculate and tell you the risk rating associated with that particular individual or company. So moving forward, it's time to make decisions. So is this person, can we absorb this person? Can we onboard this person or not? So if everything comes out clean, then the person has a low risk rating. Then that particular entity can be onboarded. However, if the risk rating is high, then that's where enhanced due diligence. So basically what that means is that further research, further screening will be done on that particular entity. So when I use the word entity, I'm talking about Walmart. So I'm talking about Walmart based on that's the example I'm using for this illustration. So then you go ahead and conduct further due diligence. So then there will be more approvers that is needed. Then at the end of the day, that also would also inform how often we would be reviewing that particular individual's accounts or their activities. So what I have explained to you now is the basic job of a KYC analyst. And this KYC analyst role can be broken down into different parts. For what you see on the screen now, there are some financial institutions, they have this intake KYC job, the role that people apply to. All they do is this intake. And some other roles, all they do, they perform CDD. Okay, and some other roles, there are people that conduct name screening, which some companies call them adjudications. So they perform name screening. Also, there's also the risk analyst or the risk analyst. So there are also people that also conduct risk analysis and stuff like that. So it is broad. So it's not, I think it's not something we can exhaust in just within this short period of time. So moving forward from KYC. So now let's talk about the counterpart, which is AML. Now, sorry guys. Sorry guys. So now that we've successfully onboarded this entity, or we've successfully onboarded this individual. So because when it comes to KYC, we're majorly focusing on corporate onboarding corporation. Then when it comes to AML, we are focused on both individuals and also we also focused on entities, companies. So now we are done onboarding the entity, and we're done onboarding these individual. Remember when the first person we were onboarding, when the individual we're onboarding at first was asked, what are you going to be doing with this account? They said they are payroll and they are teacher, and there are expected type of transactions we are supposed to see in the accounts. So let's go to the chart quickly. What is the first thing that comes to your mind when you see this picture? Just quickly, the first thing that comes to your mind when you see these two gentlemen, what comes to your mind first? Let me see. Let me hear from you guys.
Money laundering.
Okay. Money laundry. Okay.
Washing money.
Okay.
Cleaning.
Okay. Okay. Cleaning up. Somebody say cleaning up illegal funds, washing money laundry. Okay, that's good. So this is good. This is good. This is good. This is good. Money laundry. Yeah, everybody's saying money laundry. This is good. I like the fact that we can relate to what is going on here. So this is the exact thing that happens when individuals launders money. And why is this other gentleman, why did he bring take his clothes to the washing machine or the laundromat? So basically to wash off the stains, the dirt. So it could be oil, it could be grease, it could be a whole lot of numbers of type of dirt that, or probably the smelling of sweat residue. Like there are a lot of things that will make him bring those clothes to the laundromat to wash them. And apart from those reasons, why can't he just wear them like that? Because of his personality, okay? Because of his personality, he does not want to be associated or seen as somebody that's, oh, that guy is dirty, that guy stinks. You get, so it does not want to be associated with any of those type of things. So that's why it takes his clothes to the laundromat to wash them, to take off those smell, those dirt, those oily spillage on the clothes, to take them out. So by the time he takes them out, when he's wearing them next, he's looking all clean and fresh. So now you can't tell the type of dirt that was on that cloth before it went into the washing machine. The same thing happens when it comes to money laundering. Money that are being gotten from different illegal means. So illegal means, like we talk about human trafficking, talk about fraud. We talk about like any arms dealing, like any illegal activities you could cyber crimes and all those things. Any of those things you could think of. So when this individual makes money from those sources, they cannot take those funds, those money straight to the bank or start spending it, although some do anyway. But they can't just start spending it recklessly without spending it recklessly without questions being asked, like being asked about the source of funds. So what do they have to do? Must they do? They need to launder this money through the financial institutions in order for them to be able to associate themselves with the money that they've generated from illegal source. So, and because again, these people could be some of the key guys in the society, the cool guys, the cool ladies, the cool people in the society that everybody knows, but just that they just have a shady business that they do. So, moving forward, so basically, we rightly said money laundering is the illegal process of making large amounts of money generated by criminal activities such as drug trafficking, terrorist funding, appears to have come from legitimate source. So basically, that's what money laundering is all about. So now let's look at the end-to-end investigations, just like and mind you, KYC is a career path of its own. Okay, then AML is a career path of its own. So in the AML aspects, which I just explained, how individuals that conduct illegal transactions, then when they get the funds, they must take it through the financial institutions in order for them to be able to associate themselves with that money. So yeah, we have the criminals, we have the criminals, we have the bank, we have the tools, we have the analysts. So you can see where all of us, where we fit into the picture. So the criminal, what do? They place the funds into the financial institutions. They layer the funds. Basically, you see how they put the clothes into the washing machine in order for the washing machine to wash it. So when the washing machine is washing those clothes, so you can either turn it to speed wash, or you can turn it to hand wash, or you can turn it to white. You can, like, there are different controls you can turn it to. So that is how the machine is gonna wash your clothes. So by the time they are done with that, they integrate. So when they are integrating, they are taking out the funds that they've put into the financial institutions by different means and spending it legitimately. So basically, placement, layering, and structuring. And integration. My acronym I always use is PLI, because funny enough, sometimes during interviews, you will be so surprised when, for those persons that are experienced in the industry, when you're going for some certain, even experience or not experience, during interviews, there are times they ask you, what are the stages of money laundering? Because it seems so simple, there are times we tend to forget what it is. And sometimes they put up a scenarios during interviews and then and ask you to identify the stage of money laundering that is going on. So just to have that at the back of your mind. So they use the financial institutions and there are systems that financial institutions use in setting controls in order for them to in order for them to notice what is going on within the financial their systems or their financial institutions. So then the analyst, as the analyst, what do you do as AML analyst? When you receive the trigger or the receive the alert or the event, then you conduct your due diligence. Then you're checking the customer, basically who is this customer, who is this customer. You conduct all those things. You check the negative news associated with them. Then you download the statement of accounts. You conduct your investigations. Then when you're done conducting your investigations, you either confirm if the if the transaction that was conducted does not match the customer's profile, then there are questions that you that is a red flag. Okay, so in conducting investigations, there are questions you ask yourself. So we would likely touch briefly about that, because again, when you say, okay, now I've not done this before, how do I know what I'm looking at? Because if I take a bank account and I'm looking at a bank statement, and I could tell what I think is going wrong or what is happening in that bank account based on what I am saying. And that happens because I have a structured way of thinking through. And that structured way can be learned by anybody and can be taught, because I didn't just happen upon it. I actually learned it. And that is what we then call experience. So yeah, let's move forward. I'm going very fast with all of this because we need to catch up with time. So basically, AML and KYC, so they are see it this way as the risk management inside financial institutions. So these are risk management within financial institutions. So because financial institutions, when they don't conduct proper anti-money laundering analysis, or they don't capture the correct know your customers documentations, or don't, then they are exposing the financial institution to risk. Okay, they are exposing the financial institution to risk, and that risk, there are a lot of things that comes with exposing them to the risk. So there are a lot of things. So let me just go ahead. So this is part of the reasons why these feed exists. So globally, financial crime represents an estimated of 2 to 5% of global GDP annually. Okay, and also regulators have increased enforcement action like year over year over year and year and year and year and year over. You get, so I think in the UK and in the States, the regulation is really the enforcement is really high when it comes to sanction, when it comes to fine. So, but of recent, we've started seeing similar thing happen in Canada, which is a good thing. So there have been companies are being held accountable for different lapses, just minor things. The things that we used to consider to be minor, companies are being held accountable to all those things now. So institutions they face significant penalties when control fails. So yeah, they face, like, it could be monetary, it could be reputational. There are a lot of things that they face. So, and what does all of this mean? So it means that compliance hiring does not disappear in downtime. So it's not going anywhere soon. Yes, I understand that there is AI. There are a lot of things that are being automated, which is good. So the subject of AI, I think that would be discussed in a different webinar. Yeah, we'll discuss that would be a different topic entirely, that we would go deep and see what and know how to position ourselves properly in order for us to be relevant. So let's move on. So the AML life cycle. So basically what we've been discussing. So we have the onboard, we have the onboarding of customers, we assess risk, monitor activities, investigate alerts, then escalate if needed, then we review periodically. So this is what the life cycle basically look like. And we should understand one thing that every AML fits, like every AML rules, they fit within these three structures. So you either at the entry level, the mid level, and the senior level. So these are what you notice in this field. So let's take a look at a case study. We've discussed. Now we've been able to lay foundation of what anti-money laundering is all about, of what KYC is about. So let's relate it to just this case. So let's take, for instance, a business projected, what we can see now, this business projected $50,000 monthly revenue. So that is what they said that they are going to be generating monthly. So, however, 6 months later, we notice that this same company, they are turning up $4.8 million within 10 days. And it's moved within the accounts, like goes through the accounts within 10 days. What's changed? Can anybody just quickly type something? What you think has happened in this scenario? Just type something in the chat. Let me see. Okay. Okay. Left. Okay. Yeah. Making illegal money to be legal. Yeah. So basically, yeah. Yeah. So I can see, yeah, everybody, you're correct. So basically, when you're reviewing the accounts, these are the things that you would be seeing. You would see, and that's why it's always important when the onboarding is done properly. Because when the onboarding is done properly, all of these informations. So when we're doing onboarding, when I'm talking about onboarding, it's KYC. We're getting to know the customer that we want to be dealing with. Okay, so when all those informations are being collected, yes, I understand that a company could say we want to be making $50,000 per month, and at the end of the day, the business grows, and then, but even when it grows, there is a certain percentage that it's expected to grow. You get, so there's a certain percentage that is expected. So with that being said, when you notice something like this, you already know that there is something going on. So all you have to do then is to now check what is going wrong. So let's keep going. And at this point in time, this is where the differentiation happens. Okay, so the entry level analyst. Okay, the questions that an entry level analyst will do is that does this match the customer's profile? So basically, what the entry level analyst what the analyst is doing is that he's checking for alignment with the risk profile of that customer, because every customer has a risk profile. So he's checking with the risk profile. Then the mid-level analyst assesses red flags and enhanced due diligence triggers. So they are checking the red flag. They are checking the red flags and enhanced due diligence. Enhanced due diligence triggers. Then at senior level, the questions they are asking themselves is, what control fade? Okay, what control fade? So this basically shows career progression. It shows where you are at in your level. So, when you start thinking from the angle of, okay, what control fade? How can we rectify this? What can we do better? So you're entering a different level compared to when you're just at the beginning checking for checking just the profile risk. So moving forward, let's talk about the industry, the reality in the industry. The truth is that the industry, the institutions, they are not struggling to hire people. Okay, they are not necessarily struggling to hire people. So they are struggling to hire professionals who can think in risk. Okay, who can think in risk. So when we're talking about think in risk, there are different type of risk. Okay, there are different type of risk because all customers comes with different type of risk. Okay, that's why we have different risk profile. So it's either low, medium, or high risk. And all type of products that the customers are using. When we make products, I'm talking about account type or mortgage or precious metal and stuff like that. They come with different risks. Then all financial institutions, they have what we call risk appetite. So they have a level of risk that they are willing to accommodate. They have a level of risk that they are willing to accommodate within their financial institution. And they have a process of accommodating it. So they have a process of accommodating those risks. So when you position yourself to start thinking in form of risk, then document the struggle to get professionals who can document clearly. So I have observed this during my investigations. Now, how do I properly document what I observed and explain it clearly so that whosoever is reading it, so that when regulator comes in, I can stand behind my explanation. Even when I'm not there, they can easily read what I've written and understand why I made the decisions I made. And also, when it comes to another thing again that the hiring managers also struggle with is getting individuals that can escalate properly, like appropriately. So that's also another area again that affects people from getting hired. Because when you're being interviewed, okay, and they ask you a question, when they ask you those questions, your way of answering those questions, your thinking pattern is what they're actually checking out for. Your thinking pattern, okay, how is this person putting these things together? Okay, what is this person saying? You know, there are things that can be taught. The content can be taught, but the structure is critical. So now hiring manager wants to understand that, okay, does this person have a structured pattern of going over things? So if I employ this person, it will be easier if I employ someone that have a structured pattern, it's easier for me to train this person and add the content to it rather than somebody that does not understand, does not have a critical investigator thought pattern. So let me not spend too much time on this. So let's moving on. So I think I just already explained this slide while I was trying to explain the first one. What most candidates, why most candidates are rejected. So many applications knows, like most of the applications, most of the applications that you see that most of them knows the definitions, the definition of things. What's KYC? What's EDD? Was this? Was cash take back? Was like cross-border? Like there are many things they know the definitions, but it's only a few persons, a few of them can demonstrate applied risk judgment. So why did I do this? Why did I escalate this? Or why am I filing on these particular things? So and hiring managers, what they are screening for They are screening for defensibility, like you're able to defend what you've done. And for you to do that, they can easily tell if you can or if you can't. So yeah, that's something we should we'll probably have to dig deep as we move on. Then there are two parts to this. You can acquire, like I was talking about the structured and the unstructured part. So you can either have you can either study, get courses, like get random courses, self-studies, do this, do that, do this, and all those things. And yeah, it's possible that you definitely when you put in all those work and you get a reasonable you land yourself a job. Or also you can also go through a structured pattern for preparing yourself for the next job. So when we talk about I think let me quickly touch on this part, critical investigator questions. These are some of the things that would definitely help you to reason through. So you're asking yourself questions like, who is the customer? Okay, who is the customer? Basically, you can know who the customer is based on the customer's profile that you've collected during or that has been collected during onboarding. So you're checking who are they transacting with, the third party that is involved in the transactions that they are conducting, who are they? And can we establish any relationship between them? Okay, can we establish any relationship between them? And when you've checked those two things out, then you're checking the source of funds that came into my customers' accounts. What is the source? Can we clearly see where the funds is coming from? Was it cash? Was it cash? Was it wire? Was it checks? And was it ACH deposit? So you're checking for all those things. Then by the time you're able to confirm all of that, then you're checking these transactions that came into the account, like the case we were studying before, that it took just within 10 days, they were able to process like $4.8 million. Does these transactions make sense? Like, what's the economic importance of this? And lastly, disposition. How these funds, how did they use these funds? Like, who did they send it to and stuff like that? So these are structured thought patterns you can develop in order for you to be outstanding when it comes to you interviewing, talking during interviews. Because again, interviews is just basically you having conversation with another person about what you've done before. And if you've done something before and you're talking about it, there's a certain way it's coming in already naturally, and you can explain what you've done before easily um, without having any fears. Let me use that word. So you also need to understand that when there's no when the cost of not having a structured plan, or having of not going with the structured path in getting into this field, it will definitely take you time. Let's assume what you're supposed to learn within a short period of time. It will take you let's take for instance, you're supposed to get into the field within uh, four months, and you decide to do it in a different way, not structured. You could end up spending more than 12 months and keep on applying, take all the certifications, take all the courses you need to take, and you just keep applying. But the truth is that what you don't know, you don't know. And it causes stagnations, rejections. Even again, at the end of the day, when all these things start happening, then it's then a road to your confidence. So when it comes to job ready, this is the job ready framework. The job ready framework is you acquire the knowledge, you acquire the skills, and you show evidence that you show real evidence that you've acquired this knowledge and you have these skills. You need to understand that one thing is that the information will get you interviews. However, it's the evidence that you're able to show that gets you the offer. So, yeah, just like I said, information will get you interviews. Evidence would definitely get you an offer. Now, let's just go briefly about what hiring managers actually screen for. So these are the things that hiring managers screen for. They screen for structured thinking. They also screen for risk awareness. They screen for documentation clarity. And they also screen for escalation judgment. Again, when interviewers, when they are speaking with you, they are screening the way you think, and the way they do it is by the type of questions they push your way. And sometimes when they give you assessments to write, so they are screening. Okay, how is this person going through this assessment? What are the parameters that this person is using to tackle these? So this is something you should note and have this at the back of your mind. And again, another thing again that we would also discuss, I would also want to drop, is why promotion stalled. This is for individuals that are already within the financial crime regulation space, or any other aspect of compliance, actually, or any other aspect of job that you're doing. So the truth is that some persons are very technical, but they are not strategic. Some react and not. They are very reactive. They are not risk based, and there is no oversight thinking. So what this means is that some individuals, you should understand that when it comes to promotion is mostly about risk ownership. Can this person own up to a particular? Can they own up to a particular risk that is associated with what they are doing or what their team is doing? So can you find solutions to can you find solutions to the problem on ground? There are different type of risks, like I mentioned before. So we would, in a different conversation, we can break down risk and really go deep into what risk is all about. So this is basically for those individuals that are already on the job. So control awareness. Can you control, do you have the controls? Are you aware of that? Like, basically, what are the controls that triggers those alerts that you screen? You get, so sometimes, I know we just want to get our job done and be done for the day, but sometimes it's okay if you really want to build a career in this field and you want to go very fast. Yeah, sometimes it's okay to take a step back. I know there are office politics here and there. You need to take a step back and should I say reverse think about how things really work in your unit or in your units that you're working in. Then you start to think like your manager. When you start that way, you begin to see that you position yourself differently from every other person. So yeah, so that's about that. So again, I think I already explained is what promotion requires. What promotion requires is requires risk ownership, control awareness, leadership communications, audit defensibility. So these are all the things that promotion requires. When you're able to develop yourself in this pattern, then promotion would originally just come to you. So you're that guy that everyone goes to. Not really everyone, but you're that guy that takes up tasks that nobody want to do, takes up difficult tasks. You're that guy that speaks up during meeting. That you're that guy that addresses difficult situations, and automatically when it comes to time for promotion, it's again, doing all of this also included to your original task, because sometimes people can be so focused on something else and then they forget about their original task. So, in wrapping up on this section today, so you can actually prepare yourself within 90 days to have a roadmap to get into this particular career space. For those of us that are not originally into AML, like they're already not working, or probably you're transitioning, you want to transition to AML, or you like the career space and you would like to get into there. So first thing, the very first phase is the foundation phase, where you acquire the informations or the foundations, the fundamentals of what AML is all about, KYC is all about. Then when you then choose, and if you like KYC more, you can then teach towards KYC. If you enjoy AML, you like investigations, then you can then teach towards investigations. So then the applications, you need to apply those fundamentals you've learned. You need to apply them over and over and over again. Then execution, then you need to execute on all of these things that you've done. So this, you can get a 90 days roadmap that can take you from a beginner to a mid-level analyst role, because you would be building on some of the qualities that you already have within whatsoever you were doing before. Because most of these skills, they are transferable. But when you don't see it from that angle, you may just think that, okay, I don't have any transferable skills, but you will be so surprised how many transferable skills you have. So by the end, what you should come out with, what you should come up with will be, after the 90 days of you spending your time in critical studies, you should come out with simulated KYC files, enhanced due diligence case, alerts review memo, risk narrative samples. So when we talk about risk narrative sample, this is what we're talking about. You filing suspicious transaction reports, the different type of reports, large cash transaction reports, and all of those reports. This is where you come out. You've done this, you've done that. So you're able to prove and show all of these to a recruiter. These things are they are visible on your resume, and you're able to speak to this part during your interview. I don't think there is any recruiter or any hiring manager that would not hire you if you're able to convince them actually that you've done all of this. And it's not just convincing them by mouth, but by action. If you've really done all of this, you would be able to face any interviewer and then come out at the top. So, just like I said, you should be able to show proofs of structured practice, real case exposures, and you've gotten feedback. So during your structured practice, during your structured practice, then you're dealing with real case exposures, whereby you see cases that analysts sees within they work on a daily basis, and you're working on those type of cases as well. While you're preparing to get your job, you're working in a simulation, in a simulated environment. You're doing everything that the analysts are doing within the financial institutions. You're doing all of those things. By the time you're done with all of this, you can talk to any interviewers, and then it would be very easy for them to be easy for you to share your experience with the interviewer, and it should be easy for them to see that you're speaking value, you're speaking from experience, not just some theoretical words put together just to use fine words or use fine communication skills just to bamboozle the interviewers. So, with that being said, uh, at this point in time, I would want to uh, I would want to invite some of our alumni from NWC Northoka Consulting that have stayed with that we've had opportunity of sharing our experience with, of taking our trainings, and then they are basically successful in their roles. For them to just share briefly with us what it was like for them when they were starting and where they are now, and anything they would just want to share. It's just more or less like, okay, just encouragement for those persons that are planning to get into the field. Yeah, so I will hold my own thoughts there. So if we have Ade Dolapo on the call, can you please just unmute and talk to us and just briefly. Thank you for. And first of all, please let's cheer Dolapo up for taking out time today to join us. So can you please just talk to us, please?
Hi everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, so yeah, my name is Dolapo basically, and it's nice meeting you all, basically. Hi everybody, nice to meet you. And Marvin, it's good to hear from you again. Yeah, it's been a very educative one, and I tell you, I remember when I first wanted to do the training, and I remember when one of my friends actually did the training with Marvis at first, and we were supposed to start together. But you know how you want to confirm everything to see, okay, let first person go, and then let me see how it goes. Then I'll know if I want to do it as well. So I pushed my friend to start first, and she did it first, and then she got a job. I think she got a job the next month after she finished the training. And I'm like, oh, wow, then it works. Because apparently both of us were never in the compliance or AML space or KYC. We had no idea. I, for one, came from a background of tourism development. I found myself in compliance right now, thanks to God, thanks to Marvis. Yeah, so I would say that very importantly, I feel like it's very important to first of all make a decision that you want to actually be in the space. Because I think that's what would take you far. It's what will take you deeper. Like that's what will continue to push you. That yes, I've made my decisions. This is what I want to do. And before I started this training, to be honest, I've done two different trainings. I've done Scrum Master training and I've done one of project management. You know how we come into Canada and they tell you, okay, this one is the one selling. This one is the one selling. You know, you want to just up on those things and quickly grab it. So I was in that position for 3 years. And then last year, I decided to do the AML training. And I tell you, I got my job. I finished the training with Marvis April ending. I got my resume from Marvis, I think May 5th. We concluded on, okay, this is the resume I'm going to be using. And as of June 13th, I got my offer from, I currently work with one of the babies of Sun Life. I mean, we just transitioned into Sun Life right now. So, just put your mind to it. I mean, just put your mind to it. This is what I want to do, and I'm going to achieve it because the truth is, it's very much achievable. One of the things I would say that Mavis did for us, we were like 3 in the class at that time. One of the things I feel like he did very well for us, and one thing that kept me going was at some point he told us to introduce ourselves, trying to build us in the confidence space of when if you're introducing yourself to an interviewer, what would you sound like? Tell me how you'd, talk. What do you do? Tell me what you do, basically. And I remember how I was blabbing that day and I was just going around things that I learned from him and all of that. And it was like, oh, yeah, that's good. I wrote those things down. I noted it and I'm like, okay, if Mavi says it's good, I'll just brush up on these ones and I would do better. So eventually, when it was time for me to do my interviews, I tell you, none of my interviewers thought it was my first time. Yeah, I know there's a place of more preparation for yourself even after the training because you don't want to leave that space immediately after the training. You want to grab it as soon as possible. So it means that you need to start applying as soon as possible immediately. And that was one thing that helped me. just so that you don't get out of that mood of you are confident, you can do it, you've got it, and all of those things. So thanks to Mavis, thanks to NWC, thanks to I think Eva started with us with KYC. And once you get to the job, the reality is all these things are no big deals. They sound like big deals right now, but they are no big deals. They are things you can generally do. Like Mavis said, he said earlier that you have transferable skills. There's nothing you've done before that is not useful. They are very, very important because at least those things would determine what would continue to push you to want to do more. Yes, you have some things to learn on the job, but the good thing is with this current training, our time, there was really no training of we wanted to do hands-on and things like that. Yeah, we had some of KYC's projects that we had to do and all of that, but I think this training even has more, this particular set has more build-ups on things, basically majorly because I'm sure Mavis had to upgrade based on our own experiences and they are doing better this time. So I honestly recommend, because for me, it worked for me and it's definitely going to work for you as well by God's grace. I believe God. So please and please, I recommend this. Mavis is a great teacher. Eva is a great teacher. They pushed us and they would not even leave you at the point of interviewing. They're still following up. Oh, how is it going? How is it going? I mean, I'm almost 1 year on my job and Mavis is still reaching out to me and asking me, how is it going? Is there any help you still need? Is there, all of those supports are things that will keep you running and, pushing along. I remember there was one time I was having challenges with name screening. I had to reach out to him that, okay, what am I supposed to do at this point? Thank God. Yeah, thank him that he was able to respond at the time I needed it. So also because you don't want to be like, you don't want to show your colleagues that you're a novice, right? So you need that support. And yeah, Mavis always creates that environment of support that I'm still here for you. He reaches out. I mean, even when I don't remember to reach out, he still reaches out to follow up on, oh, how is it going? I hope you're comfortable. I hope you're doing better and all of those things. So I honestly recommend Mavis and I recommend Eva. I recommend NWC. It works for me. It works for my friends. I mean, we are my friend group that has done this training now. We are like 4 of us now that has done this particular training. And I feel like if you do it, you put all the effort you need to put, a job is not a problem. Compliance space is very wide, very, very wide. There's almost every financial company right now is definitely finding a compliance person or AML, a KYC. There's something they're looking for that you have as far as you're able to take the training, and you want to position yourself by getting a training to be able to fit into what you have to do. Training will give you 100% confidence, I tell you, when it comes to interviewing. It will give you all the confidence that you need because you would have done hands-on work. You would have done those hands-on that you are able to tell because you have done it. Like you are talking from a place of I have done it, not from a place of someone told me a story or someone told me this is how I should say it, you get. Because interviewers can definitely know. So if you do it yourself, it's easy for you to say, oh, I did this, I did this, I did that, I took, it's easier, it flows better because you've done it. So I honestly say, look into it. Come join us because our compliance space is very large. We want you to, we don't want everyone to, when the space is opened, why not? There's no competition in this world. Come join us. We want more people, especially our kind of people in these spaces where we are able to, show ourselves that we are not just, and like, we don't just do hands-on work, like carrying all those things. We can also do better in our lives. We can do great jobs like this. And it's very easy. I tell you, it's very easy. As far as you have researched anything online before, you can do compliance. It's not that difficult. You can do compliance. I am a compliance person. I think that's why I'm talking more of the compliance space than the AML, but everything is intertwined. They all work hand in hand. I also do AML name screening on my job. Yeah, so I think that's basically it. Mavis, do you have any questions you would like me to answer?
No question at this point in time, but just want to say thank you for taking out time to join us this evening. And probably I know maybe 1 or 2 persons might have a question for you.
Sure.
Does anybody have any question for Dolapo before she drops off? Any questions at all?
Yes, can I ask a question?
Okay, yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Dolapo.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Please, I would like to find out the first time you went for an interview, coming from an area where you have not worked, in compliance in an institution, financial institution, how you were able to, communicate during the interview as if you've been doing this, Is it based on the practice?
I
Because
know.
that's what I'm trying to.
Yeah, I
Because
get your
sometimes they
point.
ask you, where did you work before or something? How
Okay.
did you overcome
Yeah,
that,
so for
please?
me, my first interview, because I was really, my mouth was really wide. So I was applying for big roles. Like I wasn't even taking it from KYC. I wasn't doing those small, at least I wanted the big ones straight up. So the first role I interviewed for, I remember very well now, is a senior AML analyst role. And it was basically fully remote, all those attractions and things. The only challenge I had that maybe threw me off balance was basically because they were asking me for Python experience. I'm sure Mavis will remember this. They were asking me for those big things, like all those technical hands-on data science things that were more for a data analyst than compliance person, right? So it was a combination of that they wanted in one person, which I wasn't even looking at it. I didn't even think about it when I was applying. So I was just like, okay, any role I see, I apply. So that one was the only thing that really threw me off balance. And I'll tell you for a fact, one thing Mavis did for me a day before my supposed interview, it ran me through, it was asking me questions like an interviewer. So you saying those things over and over again to Mavis, like it keeps you in the space of, okay, it gives you a bit of a confidence. So at some point, Mavis even had to tell me that, oh, if you sound like this, if you are sure you are going to sound this way you sounded to me, you are going to get a job. So that already in me built a confidence, a level of confidence. I felt like anybody that is not like, that does not like me right now is the person's problem. So I went into that interview room, and even with the fact that I didn't know data science, at the point when the person asked me for a data science, I said, well, I don't have this experience, but I am willing and able to learn. And those are things that Mavis pulled me through a day before. That, okay, even when they push this one at you, be ready to, give them that punchline of you are willing to and open to learning quickly. So all those things, like going through it, the honest truth is, as far as you can follow up with Mavis, don't just do the training and just forget. When he reaches out to you or when you have any interviews, you're reaching back to him and letting him know, oh, I have an interview. Can you please pull me through and all of that? It will go through the job description with you, go through the request of the office, like what they are requesting for, what you have, and it will help you, put it together in a way that it sounds better to the hearers. So those were things it did for me in my first interview, and throughout the interviews I did. I eventually did, like, I think 4 interviews. Yeah, I did 4 interviews and I got 2 of the jobs, but I eventually chose 1 out of them. So basically, I think it's possible, it's doable.
Thank you. And I would take Adeyemi after this. Antonia, does that answer your question?
Yes, very well. Thank you very much,
Okay.
Dolapo.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, so I will take Adeyemi after this. There's a question in the chat that is asking, what background do you need? So, Valentine, is this for Dolapo or okay? I think I will let Dolapo say something on this. Then I would also speak on this as well.
Okay.
He said, what background do you need? Do you need to have to get into this field?
Okay, so I would say
can
that
you
things.
share your background also?
Okay, my background, I'll start from my background. I have a undergraduate BSc in archaeology, master's in tourism, and then I came into Canada. I did customer service twice. While back home, I was an immigration officer, basically, and that's literally all I have done. And coming to Canada, I did customer service over and over again, and I was done with customer service. So I would say that there is really no specific background they would request for when it comes to this space. They want to see that you can do it. They want to see that you have an experience, like you can tell. Some even ask for 0 years of experience. Some don't even ask for the experience. But you just need to be able to convince your interviewer that you have. One of the key points I remember I used during my interviews was when I growing up as a child, I lived in Nigeria where, there's a high, all of them know Nigeria is a high risk jurisdiction, right? Where, there's a lot of crime rates and all of that. So that's pushed my interest in wanting to be like a warrior against I wanted to be a warrior against crime, right? So that's what actually pushed my interest into the compliance space and the AML space, basically. So I wanted to be a fight against it, what we think is fraud and all of those things. So basically, just have those your punchline that gives you the confidence of I'm good to go. There's really no background that is specifically required. The only thing is you need to know what you're saying, and that's why you need a training to push you to what you're doing. Like, that's only thing that would basically let them know that you are able to convince them to show that you have the experience, you can do it, or you have at least the knowledge of it, basically. Yeah.
Thank you very much for that response. So that part, and I'm also going to respond to that shortly. But let's hear from Adeyemi. Let's get your question.
Hi, thank you very much, Delapo. So I think for me, my own question is, how do you put your resume together to even get selected for an interview?
Oh,
Because honestly, I feel like the training is one thing. Reading is not a problem and everything, but I'm always a bit concerned for maybe people who don't have Canadian experience or people who just use, because I worked in the bank. I have like over 5 years experience in banking back home, two banks. And then when I'm applying with just my Nigerian experience, I feel like maybe that is not even getting my resume selected. So for me, it's first, how do you even get your resume selected? I feel like if I even have several interviews and maybe not scale through, it kind of builds confidence that at least you got the interviews. So how
Yeah.
do you scale through that barrier?
Okay. So basically, during our time, I remember very well that Mavis helped us with our resumes. I don't know, Mavis, are you helping this time? Is it part of the package for this time?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
It's part
sure.
of the things we do.
Okay, so Mavis actually put together our resumes together, but one thing is sure, if you're putting an experience in your resume, you need to be able to defend it. So you need to have a level of knowledge, a very good level of knowledge in what you're saying. So during our time, Mavis helped us and is going to help you guys as well to put your resume together. And once he does that, it's going to put you out there. It will show that, okay, you have this experience. And for someone like you that has experience in banking in Nigeria, yours is just going to be a flyover, to be honest. I feel like you'll be more confident in talking about these things. But even though I had people that have, worked in banking in Nigeria and things like that, and, they are still, even me that just did one training in Canada, pull me in a better space than them. So that's why I will always recommend, because I feel like things are different back home than the way it is here. Like, so I still recommend you take the training. Mavis will help you prepare your resume and then you can take it up from there. Your resume, as far as it's good and it puts all the necessary things that needs to be in the resume, is always there. Like, it's always there. And the reality is everything you find on that resume, there are things you would generally still find in your workplace that you'll be able to do even without so much, because they will train you. They will still train you on the job, basically. They'll still train you. So almost all those things, and we are very smart people. We are going to get it as soon as they train us. Yeah.
Okay.
I hope I answered that question.
Yes, you did. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dolapo.
You're welcome.
I think okay, somebody is asking, I think there are some other questions I would answer, but somebody is asking, what's are you comfortable to share the entry salary range? If you don't, if you want to
Well, my
share,
own,
but
yeah, that's fine. My own entry rate was about, I mean, it depends on how you can convince them. Mine was about 75 to 90. That was the starting rate, but it depends on your role. It depends on the kind of role you're going for. I wanted nothing but compliance. Like, I'm not sure if KYC pays that much, but I wanted nothing but compliance, basically.
the actual okay. So thank you very much for I thank you for sharing your range with us. Okay, yeah, Ibrahim is saying thank you. So thank you very much, Dolakbo. I think there are other questions there, but I will just Dolakbo is still around. So if we can just go to the chat and just tell Dolakbo a big thank you for showing up this evening to join us in this conversation. Please let's make her feel let's appreciate her, please. So thank you very much, Jolakbo. Jolakbo is still around. And also, this time around, thank you very much, Jolakbo. We will
Thank you.
connect
You're
after
welcome.
this.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah,
Thanks.
so now let's hear from somebody else entirely from Jolakbo. So let's hear a different story. So at this point in time, I would like to welcome yet another student, Isosa, to speak with us and just share briefly with us how his experience was like and his background and also what he does now. So if you're there, can you come up? Do we have ISO sound record? Okay, yeah. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Thank you, Mr. Mavis, for putting me up tonight. It's been a very interesting webinar, and I'm grateful to be here once again. So I think I'll just take it back a little bit. It all started for me in February 27th, 2024, when I moved to Canada in December of 2020, and they wouldn't want me to share that here, but I'll start it. It was Mavis that picked me up from the airport. It's an elder brother. He was also my senior colleague back then in school in Nigeria. So I remember one of the things he said to me that day while we were driving to his place. He said, "This is what I do for a living." Oh. So when I came in as an international student, and I was studying health systems management at the time. And then he said, "This is what I'm doing." I said, "If this is what you are doing, please, when I'm done with school, I would love to learn." And he said, "Okay, no problem. When you are ready, just let me know." And at the time we came, because it's a full-time job, we don't have that opportunity of, working the job, because I think students were allowed limited hours to work. So which is why I said February 2027, because he told me initially in 2023, but I was done my second program in 2024. So I reached out. February, he told me, okay, there's a training for February of the 2024, which I joined. And then with himself, the wife, they taught us for 3 weeks, twice in a week for 3 weeks, and then we're done. So I went back to school, and one of the things that, Dolapo said, is about having knowledge and everything. So when we were training at the time, I think it was teaching us about how we do our searches and all of that, and knowing fully well that Excel is a part of is a big part of what we do in terms of analyzing the risk and everything, and even the investigations and the transactions as well. So I had a course I was doing at the time, and it required me to study Excel. So because I knew that it's something that would be useful for me, after school in terms of this job, I had to pay attention, and then learned as much as I could. And when I was done, I finished school August 2024, and then I got my first job with PwC in November 18, 2024. And I've been working with PwC as an AML analyst for a year and 3 months now. I've worked on 2 projects, TD and Canadian Tire as well. So concerning the training, the whole thing about the training is just setting your mind to it, because like Dolapo also said, when you come into Canada, they tell you this is what we have to do, this is what we have to do, these are the things that you can venture into. And I also want to let you guys know that one thing is certain, just like I think almost 2-3 years ago, I also started this phase that we are in right now. As soon as you set your mind to it, there's nothing that is difficult in this space. At first, I had an interview section with Marvis at the time when I was preparing for my interview, and that was my first interview. When I started the interview, I was told the interview was going to last for 30 minutes. By the interview, I said this section was going to last for 30 minutes. But during the course of our training, he gave us possible interview questions and answers that we can use alongside. So I studied that for a while, and then he told us that what definitely what it tells the candidates is when you get a job, before you go for the interview, we'll have a session to refresh, and then you can go for the interview. So when we started the interview, we were done in like 10 minutes. So the interviewer said to me, that was all the questions that I have for you. Is there anything that you want to tell me? And we spent like the next 10 minutes just talking about situations. One of the situations that happened with TD that, made them to recruit even more AMA analysts for the roles that we're also applying for at the time. So yeah, it's an open space. It's an interesting career, looking at the risk factors like Mavis earlier explained. You being given a task with a time frame to finish it, and just going through these things. I know for a fact that maybe the training process is that when you get to the job, it's like 3 weeks to a month, and after that, they call it shadowing. So you shadow someone and then they take you through, and after that you just start. And then one thing is certain here that I can say to anybody. As an international student, I paid about $40,000 for 2 years school. And then this training at the time, we did it for less than 2,000. And I can tell you that for like, I told you, a year and 3 months now that I've been working the AMA job, I've gotten like my tuition back. So, it's not about just we want to study and then we focus there. No, you can diversify and do whatsoever you want to do. And luckily for me, I've been working remotely for over a year now, and it also helps me to do other things. There are some jobs that don't even give you that chance to do every other thing. So yeah, that's all about it. It's an interesting career. As long as you put your mind to it, there's nothing you cannot do. When I started, I remember the first day that I got into the office, and they're like, this is what you have to do. For a while, I've always been in the healthcare field. And then when I came into the office and I was just seeing everybody working, I was like, are you sure you can do this? And guess what? After like a week or two, you can give me a case right now, and I just look at it and I already know the disposition to give for that case. So it's been a lovely journey so far, and I encourage each and every one of us. Because this is just a webinar, if you can go ahead with the training, put your mind to it. Mavis is always there to guide and help you till you get a job. That's one thing that is certain. It helps. It definitely helps you to that stage, and also keeps in contact with each student in case maybe there's an offer or there's an opening. If you are interested, then it can also link you up with it. So I mean, it's the best place to be right now. So, and once again, thank you so much for not, what's the word? Some people, they have ideas or they have links to these things, but they keep it to themselves. And that's one thing that we hear that's common within the Nigerian circle. But like I said, even from the first day he picked me up from the office, he already told me this is what I do. And he told me that, when you are ready, I'll put you through. And today, that's what I'm doing. So once again, thank you, boss. And it's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much for taking out time to be with us this evening. We really appreciate it. And so, everyone, does anybody have any question for Isosa before he drops? Any question for him? I know we asked most of our questions. So does anybody have any question Okay, so in the absence of
Yeah,
no
yeah,
questions, can
I
we?
have a question. I have a question.
Oh, yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it's to you directly. Yeah, because I realize almost everybody here are in Canada. In the UK. Do you do you have the template for UK, about the UK? I don't know if you work with anyone in the UK who's got a job, because I just want to know about the UK settings, if you are aware of how it goes in the UK,
Okay, yeah.
Aisha, do you want to say something to that? Because I
Yes,
believe you have
yes,
some.
because I recall there's a friend of mine who is also on this call because I had to let him know about the webinar. I was in the UK last month, and then just applying randomly on LinkedIn for jobs, and very close to where I was staying, I think they call it a Canary Wharf in the UK. An organization reached out to me there asking me if I'm ready to take up the offer as an AML analyst. And the only thing that made me decline that offer was the fact that they wanted me to relocate to the UK, and they were also offering incentives. I wish I can share that with you. They were also offering incentives like relocation benefits and all of those things. But I told them for now, no, I'm based in Canada and I want to be here. And he went ahead to say, okay, um, they also have offices in Dubai, and those ones you're able to work remotely. So that was like the person talking to me, and he said when there are offers that they don't need you to come to the office, say take for instance the UK like you mentioned, then if there are openings in like their Dubai office, then they will reach out to me. So yes, it's the same thing everywhere. Like I think if you see in the flyer that Mavis sometimes puts out there, it says UK, Canada, and Asia. I think there was someone who did the training with us at the time that was working with companies from Asia. So money laundering is the same thing everywhere. It just differs with, let's say, for instance, the softwares differs, but they all, do the same thing.
Sorry,
Sorry,
another question, please, again. Sorry, what was the entry level, the pay in the UK, like you said, since you're already aware of a bit about the UK, what was the maybe entry level pay?
Okay, no, they were not discussing it was not like an entry level. So it was basically they were telling me like what they pay annually, right? What they were going to pay annually. And it was between 100K to 120K US dollars.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Okay, hi. I Sasa. Please, what would you say are the three major softwares you use on a daily basis? Do you have what kind of software do you use on a daily?
Before just a sec. Before you go ahead to answer that question, let me just quickly add to the UK question. So we have students from the UK. I think one of them should probably be on the call. Well, we couldn't get the rest of them because of the time difference to come on call to share their testimony. So we have students that have also gotten jobs in the UK as well. And for the funny thing is that, not the funny thing, the interesting thing is that even in the UK and the US, they pay way higher than what they pay in Canada. So I'll go ahead, as well.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, you asked the question about softwares.
Yes, what are the major softwares you use as an AML analyst on a daily basis? What are the softwares that we should be aware of?
Okay, so for me, I would say like because I've worked with TD and Canadian Tire, I think there's a particular software that both companies they use, which is watch check. So both companies use watch check. I've seen that. But for in TD, we have what they call SAS, but in Canadian Tire, we have Alexa. But those are softwares that they use an in-house software where you are able to get the informations of the customer, and then especially when you are dealing with transactions and trying to investigate transactions, you are for any place you find yourself, you should have a good knowledge of Excel because Excel is needed. And then what else? Um, it's not like a software, but it's just like an in-house communication, Microsoft Teams. So yes, but every other thing, it's peculiar to the company, right? It's peculiar to the company. Other than that, like I said, word check, SAS, Alexa, what do you call it? Oracle, SQL. Like here we use in Canadian Tire we use SQL, but in what's it called? In And another one, I think I just recalled that there's one they call thesis. So thesis, we use it both ways in TD and in Canadian Tire. So we use thesis. So yeah, I would say thesis, watch check, and then what's it called? Excel.
Okay.
So those are like the three that I know that they have similarities with different banking institutions.
Thank you very much. So what would you use for case management?
For the case management, again, it differs. Are you talking about the assessment of the case?
Yeah, like when an alert has been generated, right? And
Yes.
it's a suspicious transaction. You've proven that it's a suspicious transaction, and you need to open a case for it to generate a case so you can do further investigation. What software would you use for that? Is there and also Mavis, can one use Salesforce as a software for case management? If you can also help me with that.
Okay. So let me take it up from here. So you can use Salesforce. Salesforce can be used in like most can be used differently. So there are companies that use Salesforce as our case management system. There are companies that also use Salesforce as CRO, customer relationship management. So they use it differently. Salesforce as a software. So then companies would then configure it to how they depending on what they want. So I myself have used Salesforce in two different projects I've worked on because I work as a consultant with different companies. So I've used it with two different companies, and those times I used Salesforce, I use them to do two different things entirely. Okay, I use them to do two different things entirely. And yes, you can use Salesforce. So if you already have experience with Salesforce, I think it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
And can one also use Oracle for case management? I'm just wondering, just in case they ask you a question, what are the softwares you use as an AML analyst? Would Salesforce and Oracle be a good example as softwares that I use as an AML analyst?
Yeah, so now Oracle also, I used Oracle in when I was in I think I can mention that because that's more or less like in public because I used Oracle when I was in what was it called? When I was in Scotiabank. I used Oracle. So you can use Oracle as your case management system also. So one thing you should understand is that different companies have different softwares they use internally. So some company can be using Oracle for case management. Some company can be using Oracle for a different thing entirely. So, and that's one thing that we've done over the years in NWC. Again, those things will be introduced later on in the call to design something that simulates the exact type of systems that these financial institutions they use to train our students so that they learn on actual softwares, not just storytelling. So you mentioned Oracle. There are other systems like Actimize, NetSuite. Like there are many softwares. So if you're trained on one, or if you have experience with one, then it's the same logic. It's the same thought process, the same logic that you would also use in the other one. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
Hope that answers your question.
Yes, it does. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, Mavis, and thank you.
Okay, yeah. So Isosa, before we let Isosa go, I think there's a question. Somebody is raising up around Joy. Do you have a question for Isosa?
I do have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, yeah, so this is in regards to the softwares that is being used for anti-money laundering and compliance. So do one have to get like trained in terms of like knowledge on how to do it, like take courses, like especially in terms of Python, in terms of like SAS, all of that? Do one have to get like trained, like do a course to add that to their resume? Or is it something that you don't necessarily need it, and once you interviewed, you can just learn it on the job? That's my first question.
Okay, thank you. Was that question for ISOSA or for me? ISOSA, I remember you mentioned something about SQL.
SQL. Yes,
Yeah,
SQL. Yeah.
do you want to talk about, do you want to share brief, like lightly? I know that most of, working as a consultant, most of these things, they always tell you there, there's an extent at which you can go deep. So can you talk on
Yes,
that
yes.
before I add to it?
Okay, so yeah, SQL, it's like it's a software that is used to generate like transactions, a customer's transaction over time. So you just have to put in like the account number of a customer, and then you put in the review periods that you have to look through, and then the SQL generates it for you. So like um, CTB uses SQL, but TD does not use SQL. So the functions that we are using it for currently is just to generate the bank statement of the customer.
Okay.
And then you asked a
Thank you very
question
much.
about, I think I had asked a question about
Python.
if we have to put it on our resume. The truth is, I feel like for both projects I've worked on, you actually learn on the job because, like Mavis has just stated, this softwares they are specific to the banks, so they is an in-house software. They just tell you how to do it. When you hear me mention something about Alexa and the others, it's just like their software where they assign cases to you to work on. And that's also where they have to monitor the cases that you've been assigned to work on.
Does that answer your question, Joe?
Yeah, that answers my question. The other question was for, I think it was for, sorry, the first lady that spoke, I forgot her name. I don't know if she's still
Dolapo.
here. I wanted, yes, I wanted to ask question in terms of the compliance, like because I know she said she does some AML in the compliance. I wanted her to like talk more a little bit about like the type of compliance job she does itself. I think that was my question.
I think Dolapo has dropped. Dolapo, she's out. Dolapo has another business she's running, and we had to we had to get her in for the time slot, but she has gone. She's not on the call now. I'm sorry about that.
Okay, no
Okay,
problem. It's just
so
like a question in terms of like, sorry, in terms of like, because I know there's AML, there's KYC, and sometimes online they always say compliance. So I wanted to kind of understand what the difference is in terms of just like, I don't know if you can answer it, like difference in terms of like compliance and then AML and also KYC.
okay, this is a very good question, and again, it's a very good question, and we are constrained with time. But however, let me touch on it, and because it will lead me to something else I would like to, I'm going to introduce, which is because again, this thing that we've done today, going forward in March, we would be doing more of these, but again, just um, to break things down. So when we talk about compliance, I did a series before on compliance. So we talk about compliance. Compliance itself, it's a broad statement. So compliance, there are different pillars, up to about 6 different pillars of compliance. So financial crime regulation is just one pillar in compliance. Okay, because it is the part um, that employs, not, let me not use the word employ more, but because it is the part that is more popular, because there are a lot of, like, because it has to do with money laundering, money laundering on onboarding and all those things, and do this with a lot of banking, fintechs, and stuff like that. So it's very popular, and the employment in that field is high. So that's why when we always hear of compliance, and people always mistake compliance for just AML. But compliance actually is wider than that. So we have compliance in financial crime regulation. We have compliance even in healthcare, environmental. We have the security and risk aspects when we are talking about cybersecurity. So we are still talking about compliance. So there is a broad aspect. So going forward, we would upload that section where I broke down compliance itself so that we can understand what the compliance is all about, and then we can then link it up to what we've done before and move on from there. So yeah, that's that. I guess that would be how I can best answer that question. Because if I'm to go into that, it's going to take a lot of time. So hope that answers your question, Joy.
Yes, it
So,
does.
okay, thank you very much. So going forward, can we? I think I just have one more last person to speak, and then we should be wrapping it up already. Again, thank everyone for staying with us to this time. Can I have Tolu to come on and just speak to us briefly on our experience? Do I have Tolu on the call?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, we can hear you now. Thank you
Hi.
for hi, Tolu. Welcome. Can you
Sure, no
just
problem.
talk
Good
to us
afternoon,
briefly?
everyone, or
Yeah,
good
go ahead.
evening. Okay.
Good evening.
Okay. Yeah. So, do I just go ahead and start talking, or do I get
Okay,
questions first?
okay, yeah. So, can you just introduce yourself? Give us a little bit about your experience, not deep interview experience, but like your experience, where you started from, where you are now, and what you're doing currently, and where you've been and what you're doing currently.
Oh, okay. First off, name is Tolulope. I've been in the AML industry for I think about going to 4 years now. I worked like multiple roles as an investigator, second level reviewer. Currently, I'm QA. That's what I do. That's my current experience. I've worked across a couple of banks, like almost all the big 5 banks in Canada. Okay, what was the other question?
Where you started? Where you started from? Like, did you have AML background when you were starting, and what was it like when you started?
Oh, no. So I had zero AML background. I used to work with the Internal Revenue Service in Lagos before coming here. So I had zero AML background. So what I was doing was tax, which sounds like is connected, but it's completely different. So I got in here, and then they introduced me to AML and linked me up with Mr. Mavis. I got my training, and I can't say this story without making this very important part, because Mr. Mavis was very, very crucial to my success story from the beginning. Because I remember when I got my first interview notification, I was really freaking out, and I called him and was like, oh no, you know what, let's jump on a call. And after that, I remember very well, after that particular call, the conversation, I felt a lot calmer. And I felt like, okay, yes, I could do this, because I was concerned because I didn't have any prior background, But the conversation with him, and then the training, and then some practice questions. Actually, there were some questions he went through with me just, I think, a day before the interview. And for some reason, I was asked those same questions. I mean, not word for word, but something in that light. Yeah, so for someone coming from a zero AML background experience, he was able to help me boost my confidence. And I was able to get through the interview and essentially make my break into the AML industry.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So what changed for me was like the shift, with the training was like knowing AML, KYC in theory, and then actually understanding how it works in real life banking situations, right? Because I worked on like EDD, CDD, risk ratings, and all of that. So I was like, now at the beginning, all those words, they sounded like gibberish. But with the training and everything, it started to make more sense. And then obviously with my real life experience, it was pretty clear. Yeah. So also, I mean, for me, like my biggest breakthrough was learning how to like assess risk properly, like detecting risk, like just do like a brief overview, just have a look at the case, like all the facts you've been presented with, the KYC, the transaction information and all of that. Before I even start writing up my review and everything, I just look at the facts that I've been presented with and I'm able to assess the risk properly. And then I can proceed into documenting my thoughts. And also what I always say is the most important thing I always say is if you're working as an investigator, you're doing transaction monitoring, you have to work on templates, write up a report and everything. I always advise that you write the report in a way that even someone who picks up this case that has no access to the bank system, that has no idea anything about the bank, once the person picks up the case investigation document should be able to explain itself. They should have an idea of what's going on, right? So you give out details, you give out the necessary details, focus on what matters, and expatiate on what is important. There's really no need to type a lot of unnecessary information in there. You focus on what matters and be very concise in passing your message across. So anyone who picks it up has an understanding, even without accessing the bank systems. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. So now, I don't know if you're comfortable to share about your step from, again, you've already said you've moved on, so you're currently a QA. So what will you say got you your promotion to becoming a QA? Because we also have some individuals that are already in this space, but they are looking on how to move to the next level. So what will you say what made you got that position?
Okay. So I started out as an investigator with transaction monitoring, as I said, and then I moved on into high risk. Then I went on to become a second level reviewer. Then I went to quality control and then quality assurance QA. So having worked as an investigator for a while, because I did that for the longest, it became pretty clear what was needed to be done. It became very clear, okay, we're doing high risk customers. What are the risk attributes and all of that? We focus, if it's EDD, we're doing EDD, periodic reviews, initial reviews, already knowing what to look out for. So like the more you work on these cases, the more you expand your knowledge base. And obviously everybody knows in AML is case by case, right? So it's not a one size fits all. It's always going to be case by case basis. But so the more you work on these cases, the more you do, the more experience you get. And I actually find it very interesting because there's always something to learn with a new case, right? Sometimes you can come across a case that is completely abstract from what you've done before. Like, okay, there was a particular case. I'll just give it as an example. There was a particular case from the surface level. It looked good. It looked fine. Nothing was wrong. But then further deep, something piqued my interest. Like, okay, hydro payments, they were a bit high. And I was wondering, why I looked up the apartment online. Like, it's just a regular apartment. Why is this person paying so much in hydro? Then I started to investigate further and just, and then I discovered that the guy had multiple people making payments into his hydro accounts, which is weird. Why are people making payments into your hydro account? And then, further investigation revealed that the guy was actually growing cannabis in his house, which requires a lot of hydro because he's going to have to use electricity to power whatever he was using, and that was how it became a big thing and then escalated and then law enforcement got involved. So like having done something like that, it kind of like it sets up your antennas, like you are wired, and then you start seeing sometimes. So when you see a case where you see a pattern that you've worked on before, you saw how it went. The moment you see something similar to that pattern in another case, you have an idea how the case might go. So doing all of that, and then from there, I just felt, okay, the next step is I've done this as an investigator. How about like I move up to the next stage, second level review, and start like maybe checking people's errors, because this is what I have been doing. I already have my solid experience. So checking out people's errors, like, and then correcting them, pointing out the errors to the investigators, like, so that essentially to minimize repetition of such errors. So I did that for a while, and then eventually, so apparently there's a difference between QC, second level review, and QA, right? So second level review like makes like when the submission is done fresh, goes to second level reviewer, those make the initial corrections, like that's when you have like maybe put some comments and all of that. However, QA is completely different. The final edit, after all the corrections have been made, is gone through QC, it's gone through second level, then it comes to QA, right? QA is like the final stop to be sure like everything actually checks out, or to see one or two things that the second level reviewer or quality control might have missed.
Okay, thank you very much. So, what's your final parting words for our audience today?
Well, I don't really know how I'm going to structure this without using myself as an example. First of all, the most important thing is, it's not impossible and it's not difficult. It just takes time. It takes time. Like, the truth of the matter is, even having done AML for years and all of that, if you get into a new role, you will still have to, like, I won't say struggle, but at least you will still need to give yourself some time to find your foot, because I mean, new roles, different organizations, you have to start learning how to use different systems all over and everything. So you pace yourself. There is no hard and fast rule. Quality over quantity, any day, anytime. Your quality should always speak for itself, right? It shouldn't just be about producing numbers. Let the quality of your work also speak. That will be my final parting word. As what's the word, like quality? Yeah, quality over quantity. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Tolu. Does anybody have any question for Tolu before she drops off? Any question at all? For those persons looking to either transition or either to looking to get promoted. Yes. Okay. So Tolu, can you please answer this question before you go? There's a question. Somebody is asking where you currently work, and the other question is, do you need to have an industry recognized certification before landing a job? So can you please answer those questions?
Oh, okay. I currently work with TD, and do you need to have an industry recognized certification? The short answer is no. But
so did you get, sorry, before you go, did you have the certification before you land your own job?
No, I did not.
Okay, then go ahead, please.
So the short answer is no, you do not need it to get the job. But the moment you stabilize and you've been doing this 2-3 years, I would advise looking into getting the certification for growth, right? It will help you grow. But no, you don't need it to get your foot in the door. You don't need it to land a job.
Thank you. So
Yeah.
I think that was clear. So any other question for Tolu before Tolu drops off? Okay. So, in the absence of no other question, thank you very much to
Sure, no problem.
for joining.
Okay.
And
Bye,
good,
everyone.
yeah, thank you very much. We appreciate you taking
Yeah.
that time to stay with us this evening. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. So now we've heard from three different persons that spoke on different aspects. So the reason we have everybody speak this way is that to show you people that just got in, people that have been inside, and people that have moved up the ranks. So we have a whole lot of other persons and a whole lot of reviews that we can't just share all of them now because it will be taking too much of our time. So you can see that our students, or if you put in your mind into it and learn these skills, you can stay on the job and begin to move from one level to another. You can actually grow your career from one level to another. And if people without finance background can do it, I don't see any reason why you cannot do it as well. So basically, that's what this is all about. So with that being said, there've been some questions in the charts seems like coming up over and over and over again about the training. When do we do our training and stuff like that? So we have a cohort beginning in March 10, 2027. So the way we do our training is that we have a very limited, not for scarcity based though, but we keep our classes as small as possible so that we can be able to attend to people one-on-one. So you can hear them speak. We spend time with our students to make sure that they get what they are looking for, because our joy is full when they land a job. So we have a cohort coming up in March 10th, and registration is currently open. And if you're interested, but before we talk about being interested, so what's the training that they took, well, it's quite different from what we currently have now, because we've upgraded from the last time the last person took the training to now. We've spent some time to upgrade things. We've listened to them, we've seen what they've done, and then we decided to upgrade things. So now our training has moved from 5 weeks to 12 weeks. And we have live sections. Our live sections are usually twice. We have 2 live sections whereby we would be teaching just like this. I will teach twice a week. Then we have simulation lab. So IJ's iPhone was asking. She was asking the very important questions about was asking ISOSA some questions about the tools or the softwares that he used in case management, customer relationship management. ISOSA also spoke about what was it called, SQL. It spoke about Excel and all those things put together. So what we've done is that we've spent time in designing simulation system. It's a software also that does the same thing that those financial institutions they do. Okay, so when you're talking about case management system, so we've built our own in-house case management system that we strictly use in training students. But by the time they are onboarded, we don't call them students anymore, we call them analysts, because now they would be learning as analysts. So it's more or less like we're transferring our experience. We've transferred our experience into a system that we carefully impact on everyone that comes along our way. Even before we built these systems, we've had a lot of progress, but now we decided to go further and build a system that we are proud of, that we know works, so that you would be assigned, if you're in the AML aspect of the training, because our training is 2 parts. We have the KYC training and the AML training. We put them together to be a comprehensive training. So the reason for that is that so that you gain knowledge learning about KYC, you gain knowledge learning about AML, then these things reflect on your resume. And when you reflect on your resume, it makes you outstanding. When you see jobs in AML investigations, you can confidently apply to them. Then when you see jobs in KYC aspects, you can confidently apply to them. Why? Because you have done those activities, like you've carried out the KYC onboarding, you've done reputations. So that's why we built the simulation labs, where you really do put in the reps. You put in the reps. You start with the general class, then you go into a group whereby you guys work in group to complete cases. Then you will be assigned cases on your own for you to work on. So before you get to that stage, you would have already been taught on what to do and how to do it. So this position you for a mid-level career, not just entry, because we really don't want our analysts or our students to be applying to entry level, because entry level job, you will be doing like almost similar to what a mid-level is doing, but there are some other nuances to it that we understand, and we prepare you to just go straight for that. And the compensation is fairly far better than you going for an entry-level job. So then case files, these cases that you've done, you have access to them, you save them. How do you structure your taking pattern? You had when Tolu was just talking about the fact that when she see a case, when she was reviewing a particular case and she saw something went off and then went ahead to go further to investigate further. Funny enough, that particular scenario she had in a real life setting, we have also had that same scenario in our previous training, even before she even got her job and stuff like that. So these are some of the things that we've brought into what we do, because we are practitioners. We are not just we're not coming to sell you stories or to tell you about stories. So then other thing we do is that career optimization. What we do, we bring in individuals that are like specialists that deals on career coaching. We bring them on board to talk with you, to give you strategies on how you can best position yourself. And we do that. Then resume preparations, we do that. Mock interview preparations. So you've had previous students, which are my colleagues now, you've had them spoke about that over and over again. Then the most interesting one that we've introduced is the LinkedIn optimization strategies and personal branding. From day one, you start learning how to optimize your LinkedIn and create a personal brand. One thing you need to understand is that you may know these things, you may be good with all of these, you may have these skills, but when nobody knows that you know what you know, then nobody would come to you, or nobody would come for you, basically. So we strategically position you so that you start using your LinkedIn properly, because a lot of recruitments go on in there. People, hiring managers, they are more confident when they find you on LinkedIn and see that you're active, and you don't need to be there 24/7. So these are some of the things that you will learn, personal branding and all those things, so that again, you're not just benefiting to getting into the field. Then you start to become a thought leader. You start to become somebody that people listen to when you speak in this field. So these are some of the things that you will benefit from the accelerated training. So it's a 12 weeks, and it's I can promise you one thing, it's worth it, because it's going to be rigorous. We're going to take you through different phases, but by the time you're done, you will be confident in yourself. So the investment in it is $3,000, and we have payment plan. So this is the investment you have to make. So the payment plan is that we have flexible payment plan. So we have one option whereby you pay either you pay once or you pay twice. You can pay twice, pay 60% upfront, then 40% later on. And also you can also pay 3 times, like 40, 30, 30%. So you can split it in those various ways. So basically, for those of you asking what the trading is like and when we are starting and what its cost, so this is it for you. So truth is that this is not for everyone. Let's get that clear. So it is for professionals who want to become defensible, basically. Basically, if you're ready to get a structured training and get all the support you need, this is for you. So either you're a beginner, you're switching careers like you've had international students, any jurisdiction, because our curriculum covers both the US, Canada, and the UK. So it covers the three jurisdictions. So that's what our curriculum covers because we've tested it, we've seen the results over and over again. So with that being said, I would want to say a very big thank you for everyone for taking out time to join us this evening and for listening to me. So I think I would just take a few questions before we call it a day. So does anybody have any question that they want to? Someone is saying, do you mean March 2026 or 2020? March 2026. Yeah. So where do I indicate on my CV that I have gathered the experience? So these are some of the things, informations that will be provided to you during the training. So that's why we work with you to, like, we basically work, the truth is that we take you from where you are to where you need to be. We don't guarantee you jobs. We don't go about guarantee you to say that you must get no. But one thing we can guarantee is that we can, by the time we're done with our 12 weeks and you truly apply yourself to it, you would be employable. And by the time you're employable, you apply to jobs, you definitely get jobs. So you will be employable by the time we are done with the training. So I think at this point in time, I would want to open it up for any question. So does anybody have any question you want me to attend to? Any question, any last question that we've not touched? Okay. Someone is talking, but it seems like you're muted. Okay, somebody is saying if we've mentioned this, what are the exact dates the training runs for and how often it is? Please, payment slide. How much does the training cost? Okay, I thought we've already copied that. Okay, let me take back the slide. Yeah, so this is the investment. This is what you get to pay, 3,000. That's the training cost. However, we have a flexible payment plan. So there's an option to pay once if you want to pay 3,000. There's an option to pay it twice, and there's also an option to pay 3 times. So this is it. So and if you want to, and currently we have the links. We have the links in the chat currently. If you want to, if it's something you're interested to do, you can go ahead and use the link. And someone is asking when is it starting? So we're starting March 10. So we're starting March 10. In a year, we do our training 3 times a year. So we're starting March 10, and the next training will be in June, and the next training will be in September. So that's how we do our training. So we do closed sections and specific time. We have fixed time we do our training in a year. And it's usually Tuesdays and Tuesdays and for this particular cohort, it's Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone. So it's evening because we understand that people are working and people need to spend time to work. And the interesting thing is that our trainings are always recorded. By the time we're done with the training, you get to go over and over and over again, and you get to practice, actual practice. You file the suspicious transaction report yourself. You conduct investigations for onboarding, for KYC. You do the job that you're supposed to be doing, and when you come out, you're good to go. So I guess this answers the questions that I've been seeing on the chat. So any other question? Please put up the links. The links are currently in the chat. The links are currently in the chat. Okay. You're welcome. You're welcome. When is the deadline to register for the March training? So the deadline to register for the March training would be 5 days. 5 days so that will be March 5th. So that's the deadline so that we can have enough time to onboard our students. However, you can always reach out to us and have conversations. So we can have conversation around that to see if that can be, if we can have any flexibility for late joiners.
Is there a phone number or like a WhatsApp that we can reach you? Is it just the website?
We can, okay, we're going to drop the tech team, please, support team, please go ahead and drop the WhatsApp phone number that you can reach us with. So we have a WhatsApp phone number that you can reach us with. So they're going to be dropping that in the chat soon. And also subsequently, you will still be getting, it has been dropped in the chat already. So you can reach us via that phone number. And if you want to discuss further, Someone said I had a question that wasn't answered. Please, what's the question? Fumilola. Please, can you drop the question again, or can you unmute so that we take the question?
Yeah, thank you very much. This is Fumilola.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, my question was, where do I indicate on my CV that I gained those experiences that I will be taken through in the course of the training?
So that question is something that we usually answer during the training. But however, there's a solution to that. Okay, those are some of the in-house, should I say trade secrets? But it's not a secret because we've had many students. But those are the things that we will work with you on to discuss how you got those training and how it can be reflected on both your resume and your social media. So it's something we definitely answer during the training.
Thank you very much. Just one other question. Yeah. Do I get to also indicate on my CV, or it's not done, that I've gone through a training as an accelerated program like this?
Okay, I would answer this one. Yes, it would be reflected. It will be reflected. So we have an in-house resume or CV team, people that specialize in designing resume that would work on it critically for you. Yes, it will be reflected.
All right. Thank you very much. I'm done.
You're welcome. So any other question before we call it a day? Any other question? So, okay. So if just in case you have any questions, so with our phone number is displayed, the WhatsApp number is in the chat, so you can always message us and reach out to us. And I think with that being said, so I think we can call it a day here. But before we go, I just want to say a very big thank you for everyone for taking out time to join us this evening. I understand that there are 1,001 places that you could have been this evening, but you decided to stay with us. We are so, so grateful, and we do not take this for granted. So you will be getting messages from us after this call just to show our appreciations and share probably the recordings with you. And if you know anyone that you think would be interested in this knowledge, so you can feel free to share with them. And subsequently, we would also be inviting you guys to join our what's it called, our monthly webinar, monthly compliance sections, where we're not selling anything to you. We're not telling you to join any training, but we just want to discuss about compliance and different aspects of compliance so that you know what is out there for you. So once again, thank you very much, and I'm checking out. God bless.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mother.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so
Mr.
much.
Marvin.
You're welcome.
A great session. Informative.
Thank you very much, Siva. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Marvis, for this session. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Have a good day. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you.